Oh goodness. I just had a little mini heart attack because I took the thumbnail. I knew that I was on the right channel, but for some reason I took the thumbnail. And then I was like, am I on the Legacy channel? So right now I'm going to be separating these out, six and above plus the aces in each suit so I can Lenormand. And I'm going to talk about the dream I just had. The card that came out is a complete restructuring of home, a breathtaking sight that redefines beauty and allowing one's soul to breathe. I've seen this card lately. Was it for me or was it for somebody else? Or was it on here? I don't know. A complete restructuring of home, a breathtaking sight that redefines beauty and allowing one's soul to breathe. It's kind of sort of like this inside outside. It's almost like this inside out type of energy where outside in, sorry, type of energy where you see something so magnificent and spectacular and breathtaking that it just like completely reshapes and remolds and reforms the way that you see the world. And it is like a life altering moment, but it's deeper than that because it wants you, or for a moment, it's like you and your soul are both appreciating this thing at the same time. Right? It's like a moment where you're on the same page because something is just so gorgeous, and you're like, there has to be a God out there who created such a wonderful masterpiece, or something like that, right? Take it as it resonates, especially these. I'm still discovering how I'm going to use these per se. Some of these are just like, when I made them, I'm like, oh, I'll figure out how I'm going to ground these later, right? I'm just going to do whatever comes to mind. And some of them are like this one, taking the plunge into an ice cold tank, dissolution of the self, and integration and separation. Okay, I've seen both of these recently. And I'm pretty sure I remember where these came out because I remember talking about this one. Dissolution of the self, integration and separation. Um, that's about, I mean, first we allow our soul to breathe, right? And then after that, we kind of sort of begin to discover some things, I'll say. Some things about ourselves, some things about life, some things about some other stuff. Because it's like we kind of give ourselves permission. And again, it's almost like once that doorway is open, then we can begin to hear the voice. Okay. So I should have like 36 cards. Bear with me as I do this. Oh, I was going to talk about a dream I had. So I was just on here complaining the other day about how somebody was like, he was in this dream fighting and doing stuff, and he had a team of people. And I'm like, I ain't got no team of people. Where my team at? I just be fighting by myself. So, and then again, since I decided I'm gonna fight my dreams again because I'm tired of having these dreams and I'm not doing anything, so I'm just having more dreams. I was like, you know what? I'm done running away. Now I'm ready to fight, and I haven't had any dreams since then, really, that were confrontational, we'll say. But I've been napping a lot today, kind of. I guess I only had, well, yeah, I've been napping a lot today. Um, and I just had a dream where I was with a whole group of people, and we had we discovered this ancient village, and there was like this mountainous outcropping, right? And then we could see the ancient village below, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I haven't been here in a minute. This is where I grew up. Like there used to be a bakery around there, and we used to play over there. And part of me in this dream was making it up, but part of me wasn't. Like everything was so old and run down. that like if I was like, oh, that used to be the bakery, it's like I can't like necessarily physically tell, but I know that in that general area, that's where the bakery was, and everything just looks like ruins. It's in ruins. It was ancient. And someone's like, let's go down there. I was like, what? Can we do that? And they're like, yeah. And so then there were like these steps that went down, a whole bunch of steps. Well, were they on the side or were they at the front? That led from this rocky outcropping. And it was a lot of steps, but there were like these like platforms on the side. And I was like, well, can we just like, you know, slide down them instead of walking down the steps? Because that's a lot of steps. And so eventually, I can't remember how what happened when, or if this was like after and this was the before. But there was another part of the dream. Maybe I woke up and went back to sleep. I've been doing that a lot too. So my dreams have been like disjointed or like stuttering or repetitive. And so yeah, so we end up in like this gymnasium type place. And it's a whole bunch of people that I don't really know. And like one or two people that look familiar or that feel familiar. But mostly people that I don't know. And we're like getting to know each other and what our strengths and abilities are, more or less. And the gymnasium, there's like the gym, I like my middle school gymnasium, I see that a lot. So I went to one door that typically leads outside, but there was a pool there. And I was like, oh snap, there's a pool over there. And then I see something like swim by, and I'm like, and so I keep watching, and it's like this gigantic shark like thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no! So I'm like, okay, we're about to fight. We's about to fight. And when I see this shark thing like swimming back and forth in this pool, it was huge. And all I could see was like the fin and like a little bit of its back. I was like, okay, so this room is about to flood, and that thing over there is about to come over here. So we need to get ready. And so I told everybody, and so I guess I forgot that I was fighting in dreams for a second because I'm like, all right, let's move over to the next room. And so I went over to the next room with somebody else just to see like what was in that room, just to scope out the situation before everything goes down, so I can know where like the exits are and stuff like that, I guess. Um, and so we do that, and then I'm like, are there any like iron bars so we can like bar the door? And they were barring the door that led to the what do you call it? It's another word for pool, or is it just the pool? Is it just pool? There's another word for pool, right? The pool. 'Cause it's not aquarium. There's another word for pool, like a swimming facility, or is it just the pool? I don't know. I'm like, I know there's another word for pool. It was like a pool, okay? And then there was a few bars, and so it broke that door. But since I had the foresight, we were already prepared, and we had just moved to the next room before that room even like really began to flood. As soon as that thing busted through the door, we was like, okay, everybody shift over to the next room. And so then we were just gonna leave, right? So there's the pool back here, there's the middle gymnasium, there's another room, and then there's a door to the outside there. And so we're just gonna go outside, and someone was making water masks, and somebody had like this brilliant idea to make these cold water masks. And so basically, if we were knocked out, at this point, it kind of sort of turned into a video game, Monster Hunter specifically, kind of. But it was like, so the cold water masks. I was like, oh, what's that? And he was like, well, if we get knocked out, then the cold water in the mask will wake us up so we can do whatever we need to do to get ourselves together. And so he was making a bunch of these cold water masks, and they were just like red masks that had cold water in them that just magically stayed in the mask somehow. I don't know. And he was like, I thought he said that he couldn't make me and my little brother one. Or maybe he said that I only have enough time to make you and your little brother one. The little brother that I protect, not the little brother that causes trouble. And so he hands me this mask, and I'm like putting it on my face, and I'm like, how am I supposed to breathe if there's like water in this thing? But as I was talking, I could breathe. So, you know, I've come a long way from drowning a few weeks ago. Well, I guess technically I've been able to breathe underwater in dreams for a few weeks now. Because even the first time I could still breathe, I was just holding my breath because I was underwater. And then I saw like him wearing his, and it was like under his nose. I was like, oh, okay, so I'm just gonna slide this under my nose so I can still breathe. So then we go outside. Okay, so I think at the city the stairs were downwards, but now like we go outside and we walk down this set of stairs. And there's like a sleeping dragon. I'm like, oh my gosh, first there's like a shark monster. Now there's a sleeping dragon. Everyone is getting into position. So there's like this little cove, this little cutout, and then there's this open area. And so basically what they're doing is we have the tanks and then we have everybody else, right? And so the tanks are the ones who are going to sort of hold the attention of the dragon while everyone else works on weakening it and taking it down. But I'm just like, so like, what's my position? What's my weapon? Like, what am I doing? And then someone was like, oh, you're like on the heavy gun or something. I was like, okay, so like, but like, like, there's no weapon in my hand, and I can't like. That's also kind of sort of been a thing lately. Because usually, if I'm doing something in a dream, I can see it. But lately, I haven't been able to see what I'm doing. It's like I go through the motions and then things happen, but I don't actually see it. I just kind of sort of got to trust that it's happening. And it does happen, but again, it's weird. The only thing I can see is like when my feet aren't on the ground. Um, and so, like, I was going to go for the tail. I was like, yeah, cut off the tail of the dragon. I'm going to shoot these like slicing shots at it, make sure no one else is in the way. And then, so we're fighting the dragon. I think we were actually training for something. I don't think this was like real life. I think it was training because we're fighting the dragon. Maybe the dragon flies off somewhere. And again, we walked downstairs after we exited the thing. So the second room floods. And I just look up. I see there's like this glass. There's a lot of glass, and I see the glass is full of water. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that shark thing is about to break through the glass, and then we're gonna have to fight the shark thing and the dragon. And that's because I said something before we like decided to just leave. I was like, should we take care of this shark thing or should we just like move? And they were like, we're just gonna move. And I'm like, I kind of feel like we should take care of this. I feel like we wouldn't be presented with this challenge in this scenario if we weren't supposed to take care of it. And so now, cut back to however many minutes later, I just happen to glance up, and then again, here comes that like premonition type thing of just like the shark breaking through the glass, being able to breathe outside of the water, and now we got to fight this land shark and this dragon at the same time. And I'm like, oh my gosh. What? But then, like, the dragon ended up going somewhere. And in my mind, I just know, okay, so like the dragon, like wherever the shark is gonna come out, that's where the dragon is heading to. And I'm like, I don't have my guidebook. I don't have my guidebook. Like, I don't know how to use this weapon. I don't even really know what my weapon is. Y'all just told me it was this thing, so I'm gonna trust it. It was this thing. And then someone's like, oh, I have a guidebook. And I was like, well, I'm looking for someone who's in the same class as me. Because if you're in a different class, then your guidebook is going to look different and you may not have my information. And they were like, yeah, I'm in the same class. And I didn't believe her, but I took her book anyway. And I'm flipping through and I'm like, okay, this is what I got. But they had like two different heavy artillery type weapons. I was like, I'll just start with this one because this is the one I'm most familiar with. And with that other one, it was another heavy artillery weapon, but it was a lot closer. Um, right. And so I'm looking at all the little shots, and there was something on there where I was like, oh, that's interesting. How does that work? I was like, oh, I could use that. And there were some other parts of the dream that I'm not remembering because I was like, that's interesting. I just remember being like, huh, that's interesting a few times. But that was basically the whole dream. It was interesting. Starting with that city, it was just like old and run down. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I grew up here. Like, wait, I thought this place was wiped off the map. Didn't think I'd see this place again. And who was I with, you know? And again, it felt like an exercise. Maybe that's why I didn't have an actual weapon that time, because it was like a training exercise type thing. But I'm like, oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's all of the Le Normand in the deck. I'm going to pull up my little correspondence chart. So I'm going to pull one of the 2 through 5s. And then I'll pull two of the 6 through aces, and then we'll see what's that. I just wanted to talk about that dream. Honestly, I keep getting this message of like everything that we need to know, we already know. So I think I'm gonna chill for a minute, and I'm gonna focus on some stuff in my life. You know, sometimes I do really just want to pull cards. Uh, but yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing. Taking a little bit of a break. We'll see. Because again, it's like I feel like the stuff is kind of sort of repetitive, and it's also like everything like we should already know what's up. And like I've kind of sort of been talking about this since like February or March. At least the part of like maybe spirit going a little quiet. Ooh, remember all of your lessons. Ooh, be careful what you put energy towards. Ooh. Who is this? I love when LinkedIn is like, hey, do you know this random stranger? I'm like, no. Do we have any mutual connections? Did we go to school together? Did we work together? Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Give me a moment to pull these up. Oh, that's the list. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'll get these two first. I'll get this one first, and then I'll get the two. No tarot today, just the dice. I should roll the dice and use the dice cards. I've been wanting some Dairy Queen for like days, y'all. Christmas was extended to yesterday, but I still didn't get my Dairy Queen. So Christmas is over officially. And then last night I was like, wait, if Christmas was yesterday and today, then does that mean that New Year's is like a week from now? I was like, I didn't even think that far ahead, but hey, I mean, maybe. I mean, there are a few things that would make my new year extra special. And, you know. Also, I was thinking yesterday, because I was like, I keep seeing this envy card lately, and also I was seeing the devil. And I'm just like so not even thinking about people who may harbor sort of like negative feelings or whatever towards me that it didn't even come to my mind that that could be like when I was reading that for the divine feminine energy that somebody might be envious of that energy. Or even when I see it for me, like I don't even think, oh my gosh, somebody might be envious of me. What? I'm just like, well, how am I like acting in some type of way that might be envious of someone else? This is a struggle. Like I don't know, or like I don't know. Like I'm trying to like dig into this, and I'm like, and it's like it could go the other way, you know. I'm like, what? Because every time I see it in the reading, I just like roll my eyes, and I'm like, this again. Okay, we'll take this one. I feel like it might be the Two of Hearts. Oh wow! Oh, I'm wrong. It's the Two of Diamonds, though. Two of Diamonds. What's the bottom of the deck? The Four of Spades. Okay, well. Two of Diamonds is a forced uprising, an ancient word that stirs ancient things to life, whispered. 389515 and 3. This is interesting because I remember writing a lot of these. I wonder how long I'm going to remember what came through my mind as I typed this down. There are two cards with typos. I found the second one. I'm like, oh no, oh no. But there were so many to get through. I was just like, it's fine. If I caught it, then I fixed it. Because by the end of it, I'm just like, I'm doing the speech to text because I'm like, I'm trying to get through these. A forced uprising, an ancient word that stirs ancient things to life when whispered. So the forced uprising, it was like when two things come together, when two very dense things come together and they collide, but because of the collision, it like forces them upward. It was like that energy, right? It's like when two worlds meet and they don't completely like disintegrate each other, but it like to like plates, right? And it causes that type of energy. Now, when plates collide, it's also often accompanied by tremors and earthquakes and stuff like that, right? But this is just like a mountain that just like springs up out of nowhere almost, which could be like blockages, right? Maybe we were sort of, excuse me, maybe it was like sort of fairly easy going. Why did I just do that? Maybe it was sort of fairly easy going, and now it's like, oh my gosh, where'd that come from? But an ancient word that stirs ancient things to life. And then I had this dream of this ancient city. Right. I was like, there's the baker. That's where we grew up. Oh my gosh. I remember being a little ruffian, a little hooligan. Wasn't really a hooligan, but being a child. Right. It was so weird. So interesting. But so weird. And it was in like ruins. That's how old it was. And again, it's like pretty much everybody that was in the group in the dream lived in the same city. And so I didn't necessarily recognize the people, but I recognized the town. Now, some of the people I kind of recognized, some of them kind of felt familiar a little bit. One of my friends, one of my like I met her in like elementary school when I transferred to an elementary school for like a semester. I met her, and then I saw her again in like high school, and she was so chill and so cool and so smart and so cute. I was like, yes, low key, like that's I just like anyway. Besides the point. And I just found out that she's like into spirituality because another one of my friends is getting into it, and she's like really getting into like life path numbers and astrology and stuff like that. So whenever she pop up on Facebook with astrology, I'm like, and then to my surprise, I always see her stuff like a day or two late because I ain't really on Facebook like that. And so this girl was going off, and I'm like, hold up, like y'all over here having this whole conversation, and I felt left out, and they were like, you ain't left out. So I just reached out to her, and I was like, "Hey, girl." It took me like maybe a month or longer, because I was like, I know people like in real life who like I grew up with and went to school with who are like getting into spirituality. Like, yes. And so I was like, "Hey, girl, we're probably gonna need to talk one of these days. Like, what are you up to?" And she told me, and she just got a book on the Akashic records. And she was like, "Oh, I'll send you a picture of the book when I get it when it comes in." I was like, "Okay." So she sent the picture today. And I was like, "Oh snap!" And then I think she might have been, or the vibe of her reminds me of the person I got the guidebook from in the dream. And I was like, I don't think your book is going to work for me. But I mean, in the back of the book, it didn't necessarily go into the detail of how to use it. It just like listed out all of the different like types of shells that this heavy artillery weapon could use. Right. But again, it's like I never actually held it. I never actually like saw it. It's like I'm going through the motions and like doing stuff. But that's another thing about the power of intention in my dreams lately too. Anyway, I don't know. Dreams are weird, y'all. Everybody got weird dreams. But I guess I just decided because I was like, wow, maybe it's something about that book. But I'm like, I'm not over the Akashic records, but ooh, first card, the Seven of Hearts. Ooh. Oh, snap. I like this. 17, 10, 10, 8, 5, and 1. So there's actually a 10, 10, 10 on this card. 10, 10, 10, 7, 8, 5, 1. Oh, and look at the formation. Wait, both of these are kind of sort of. This one looks like almost like a bell ish. If you can see the dice behind it, you can. That one almost looks like a bell. And this one almost looks like a number. No, what is that? Almost like a sideways M. And it's one of those runes that I can't remember. I think it's the one that means like mountain or something. Right? If it's like that, almost looks like an M. So let's get the second card. Let's get the second quad. Let's get the second quad. Seven of Hearts. Mm-hmm. I feel like I had other dreams too. It's like I'll wake up before I decide to go back to sleep. And I'll be like, oh, I'll remember this dream. There's no way I'll forget it. I've been writing down, I had like a 4-day streak of journaling dreams and then I broke it. But I have been writing them down. Oh, there we go. Abigail. Just popped into my mind. Ooh, a queen. Seven of Hearts and the Queen of Clubs. Just call me the Queen of Clubs. With the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Okay. Or at the bottom of this stack. What's the bottom up here? The four of sword, the four of spades. Oh yeah, I saw all three of these because I did a little read in, and I saw all three of these, and I only pulled like four of these. Maybe there was one and then two. There was one and two. It was the 7 and the 9, or was that for somebody else? I don't remember. But I saw these three like yesterday, and I saw this one. I've seen this one. I haven't seen this one yet. I don't believe a 7 and a 4, which is an 11. The Queen of Clubs is the 4 of the Mystic Purple. There's the Cosmic Purple and then the Mystic Purple. This is the 7 of Green. And I decided to make the green set. Are these blue? No, these are blue. I was gonna make the green set for the heart because I was like, oh, that's like the heart chakra. But I was like, I'll make the blue set for the heart, the green set for the diamonds, the gray set for the spades, and then the red set for the wands. And then the two purple sets I'll split between the 10 to king, and then the jokers. And then it fit. So A forced turn, sorry, a favorable torn, if I can speak, a favorable turn of fortune, a powerful message duly received. Again, that one is 17, 10, 10, 8, 5, and 1. If any of those numbers, ooh, this is interesting. If any of those numbers mean anything, there is a 10, 10, 10 in here, right? Because the 17, there's one set for the tens and then a set for the one, or a die for the 10 space, a die for the one space. So it's a 10 and a 7 that make that 17. So 10, 10, 10, and then 7. And then the other one is bringing order to thought, proper delegation of tasks, and seeing the internal through the external. This is 92, 16, 16, and 3. And that's a 4. So we have a 7 and a 4, which together make an 11. This one is interesting because it reminds me of something, but I don't know what it is. That's how they're laid out. You can see they're kind of sort of lined up, but a little wavy. A little wavy. And then we'll see what the Lenormand is for these. A favorable turn of fortune, a powerful message duly received, bringing order to thought, proper delegation of tasks, and seeing the internal through the external. And this is coming after the forced uprising and the ancient word that stirs ancient things to life. A powerful message duly received. That's interesting. It's interesting that a powerful message duly received came out after an ancient word that stirs ancient things to life whispered. So a message received. And then over here, I'm actually going to look and see what the dice correspondences are for that 92. The other ones I can figure out. Because there is like a magician energy here. There's also root energy, Virgo energy, and third eye energy, and air. And that's something, it's interesting that we got the magician and like Virgo with this air, because that would have been something that would lead me towards that, like, it was like there are these things that like directly correlate to physical things happening. One of those is like the card that was well, kind of sort of the tongue of light, and there was another one that I can't remember. It was interesting how like there from 0 to 99 there were a few numbers that I saw pop up multiple times. I was like, that's real interesting. That's real interesting. But again, it was accompanied by something different every time. Oh, well, this is Mercury. So again, this is really interesting. Hey, we got Mercury, the Magician, and Virgo, plus air energy. That's like all mercurial. And that happened yesterday. I was like, oh, this is like Gemini over here, and then Virgo over there, and then the Magician came out. I was like, oh my gosh, Mercury is here as well. Mercury's in Virgo right now. I think Mercury loves being in Virgo because Mercury hates being in Pisces. Mercury's at home in Virgo, or it might be exalted. I can't remember if it's domicile or exalted in Virgo. It doesn't matter. It does matter, but it doesn't matter. So we have Mercury and the Magician and the Root and Virgo and the third eye and air energy. Over here, okay. One of the energies that honestly tripped me up more than anything, and it came out a lot, was Capricorn. And sometimes Virgo, Not really Taurus, but Capricorn and Virgo like really trip me up because it would be like such these like the what would come to mind would be like these things, but then I'm like, how do I integrate that like down here where it's like Capricorn and Virgo, like earthy energy. And Capricorn is on this one, that's why I said that. What's up here? 95153, 38 95153. I don't think I read those before, but 38 9515 and 3 is the two of diamonds. So I guess there's an element of time here. And it is a favorable turn of fortune. And there's a Wheel of Fortune energy here. That's why it's a favorable turn of fortune. It's not one of those bad turns of fortune, but it is the beginning of a lot. And maybe that's why it's so important that we bring order to our thoughts, because it's almost like the universe is really going to be listening, right? We got Mercury, the magician, Virgo, which is that order that needs to be, it's like it needs to be clean, right? We ain't got time for sloppy manifesting, because sloppy manifesting lead people to all kinds of stuff that we ain't got time for anymore. And this air. And the proper delegation of tasks. I don't necessarily remember why that. Oh, that it's reminded me of the cinnabar. That's what that is, or the hollyhock from the Ace of Swords. The way that it's like it curves out. That's what it's reminded me of. The sacred cinnabar, Ace of Swords, and the SKT. And I just saw that one. It was talking about how the Ace of Swords could be like communication if you're the initiate, but for the seeker, then it's like your own personal sword of power or something like that. But I'm trying to remember why I put proper delegation of tasks here, because it was about not okay. Because Mercury is busy. Mercury is the messenger god. Mercury runs in between different realms and deities, and sometimes people, maybe, I don't know, and delivers the messages. And it's also there's also like the commercey, businessy side to Mercury as well. But this was like the boss energy. And so there's this energy of like not having other people do things for you that you can do and should do for yourself. Not because it's like sometimes, you'll have a boss and then they'll delegate their job to somebody else. And it's like you literally delegate all of your tasks out. Like, what do you do besides like babysit? Right. And it's like sometimes we kind of sort of delegate things to other people that's above their pay grade or that we should be doing ourselves. And here in this card, it's the things that we need to be doing for ourselves. And then seeing the internal through the external was related to that root and third eye energy. And so it's about really seeing to the heart of certain situations. There's this very like cerebral side of there's this like this understanding, like that Ace of Swords type energy. But it's us understanding how things work on a little bit more of a mechanical level, maybe. Mechanical is a word lately, like as of last night. And that's why we have like this sort of like energy. Because once we understand the mechanism, then we know what we have to do to get things to work. And so this energy is like, yeah, things are the Wheel of Fortune is about to turn in your favor, but we have to be doing the things that keep that big wheel turning, right? Because if we don't, or if we improperly delegate things, we're not going to get whatever it is that we need. And it's like we're too detached from it. And if we're too detached, and it's not to be like right on top of it. But again, it's like I'm trying to like. I remember I was writing these, and I'm like, how am I gonna bring this down? I was like, worry about that later. Just create them, right? And that's another thing. It's like let's say that Mercury has his team of the I was gonna say the GSPS, but I was like that wouldn't be the GS. That'd just be GPS. But I'm like GPS. I was like, well, I guess it is Mercury, so GPS, right? Or the DPS. Ooh, I was DPS last night. Damage per second last night. That was like a few hours ago. I was like, oh snap, I'm deeps. I always play deeps, so I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. I don't like tanking and I don't like healing because I barely pay attention to my own health in video games. Now I got to pay attention to like everybody health and mine. Sometimes when I was healing, I would let myself die because I'm paying more attention to everybody else's health than I'm paying to my own health. Um, but then they came out with the monk class where it's like if you set up your green jade statue and you set up your other stuff, you can play DPS and then it heals other people. And I was like, oh my gosh, perfect. And I don't like tanking either. I guess tanking wouldn't be too bad, but to me, tanking just feels like it would be boring. And another thing that, so I'm gonna, this is my channel, okay? Let me stop. Side note, I hope I can get back to this. I had a few guilds that I played World of Warcraft with back in the day when we would go and raid. And the first guild I got in, it was like a family guild. There was like a man and his wife, and like their parents played, and then some other people like joined. And I ended up in their guild, and we started raiding. And so he had a buddy from this raiding guild that was like hardcore, and we were like softcore, right? We're just gonna have fun. Like we don't care if we beat this. It's about the experience that we have as a guild. Those were the golden days of World of Warcraft for me. Doing raids with the guild, and one of the things about this guild in particular, again, like we weren't super hardcore, and I played a versatile-ish class. It was a hunter, right? And I guess in that game, hunters are the ones who have like either you have your bow and arrow or you have your crossbow, and then eventually they introduced like mechanical weapons like guns, right? So I would have been the heavy artillery. Accurate. But you also have pets when you're a hunter. Anyway, because of this guild, I was like, I played a few roles, never healed, but like if I had a pet that was a little tanky, I would like use my pet to do other things. I had to be versatile in this guild because we were all new. No one was like super pro. And since we were focused on the experience, it wasn't about the numbers. And so I remember there was this one fight where like a lot of times if it's like a raid, you'll have 10 people. So you'll have your tank and then your off tank. And your off tank supports the tank. And if like you're fighting a monster or a boss that's damage heavy, then the tank and the off tank will switch, right? So like while the tank is recovering his health, then the off tank will pick up the aggro. Or they'll just have mechanics where you need to switch between the tank and the off tank. But if that's not the case, then like the off tank is the one that goes around and like rounds up any spare, any stray monsters. Not the boss, but the other ones, right? And I remember the healer was like there for this one fight. I think it was like I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Myxine. It was this big spider. She was like, "Hey, what was my name? Flam. My name was Flamal, but they called me Flam." And we were on voice chat. Now this is the guild. This guild is the reason why I don't voice chat on video games anymore because one day I forgot that my mic wasn't muted and I'm singing Pussycat Dolls to the whole guild, and ain't nobody say nothing until I stopped singing. And then people want to be like, "Oh, why'd you stop? Like, I want to hear some singing." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Mortified. Never voice chatted ever again in my life. Okay, I'll take that back. But now I voice chat sparingly because I was really shook. I was like, "Wow, they really just sat and listened to me sing When I Grow Up by the Pussycat Dolls like this whole time. It's fine." Um, but anyway, she was like, "Hey, I got these spiders on me. Like, can you like take care of them?" And so I have certain skills that produce aggro. I have skills that will get a monster's attention, and then I have these, you call them crowd control skills, that would like slow them down, right? And so what I do is I get them off of her. I slow them down a little bit because I'm not a tank, so I don't have a lot of health, right? So I don't want to die, because then if I die, I'm one of the better DPS because I also run with the other group sometimes. And so I have better gear. I can hit harder. And so I pick the mobs up off of her. I put down my frost trap to slow them down. And then I move them to the tank. So the tank doesn't have to, because with some of the bosses, depending on the boss, right? And this was a dragon in the dream. So whenever you're fighting a dragon in this game, you don't stand at the front or the back. Because if you stand in front of the dragon, it's going to breathe on you. If you stand at the back of the dragon, it's going to tail swipe you. And so you stand on the sides of the dragon, right? Also, it was like World of Warcrafty, but also Monster Hunter-y in the weapons. But not really. I guess it's just been a minute since I played World of Warcraft, so it was like Monster Hunter. Because I was like, okay, I'm standing on the side of the dragon because I ain't trying to get tail swiped, and you ain't supposed to stand in the front either. Anyway, so what I would do is I would pick up the mobs, the monsters, from her, and then I would bring them to the tank so the tank could pick them up from me without making the boss monster face the entire group and just kill all of us, right? But that was my experience there. My role was a lot more versatile there. And then I go and I raid with this other group, and it's all about the numbers. It's all about how much damage you do and like kill it, kill it, kill it. And it's like, oh, I topped the charts. I did this. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm coming from the smaller, more casual group. So I'm playing like versatile. Whenever I see something on a healer, I'm like, well, let me go save that healer because if the healer goes down, then we all go down. Hello? But some people were more focused on the numbers and like, oh yeah, I'm topping the chart. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm like, okay, well, I'm over here. I wasn't topping charts, but I wasn't at the bottom of the chart either. If you know what I mean. You probably don't, but that's fine. um, but yeah, so I would like still be in this versatile role while also still trying to like focus on doing damage because this is a hardcore group, right? And so they look at the numbers. They're like, "Oh, your DPS was a little low. What's up? What's up with your DPS, man?" You're like, and then there was this one. So the leader of that guild, his sister played, but she wasn't that great. We find out she's playing World of Warcraft using the trackpad on her laptop. I'm like, girl, get a mouse at least. Anyway, but she was like the healers were doing more DPS than her. And one day the guild leader was like, "Man, I need y'all to give my sister some tips because because she needs it." Anyway, my point is I went from one setting where it's all about us having the experience as a group. And so if we need to sort of cover each other's bases or if we need to leverage the skills of whatever class we're playing as to make it through the fight, then that's what we do, right? And there are some other like DPS classes, right? And like if the healer's like, hey, I'm a little low on mana right now, so like, or like if there was like one of these heavy sort of like heavy, like everybody gets hit types of things, then some of the people who were on other DPS, they would pop out a few healing spells to make it easier on the healers. Like I would do that to make it easier on the tanks. And it's like that's what we did, and we had an amazing time. We didn't necessarily clear everything, But we had fun, right? And even when we wiped, it was still fun. I remember the first time I did my little off tanking for Gluth successfully. I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. What? And at first, it took me so long to get it right. And I'm like, y'all are expecting too much out of me. This is stressful. There's a reason why I don't tank. But we ended up doing it because I ended up pulling my weight eventually. Right. And again, since we're not a hardcore group, it's like our DPS isn't as high. So the fights take longer. And so I'm down here at the back of the room trying to do my thing even longer because it takes us a little bit longer to kill it. And I'm like top DPS on the casual side. But I'm not DPSing because I'm back here kiting mobs. Okay. Kiting mobs is just like with the spiders, but instead of taking the monsters to the tank, so the tank can pick up the aggro, and then we just like kill everything in that area, and they naturally kind of sort of die off. I'm like running circles around these monsters in the back of the room the whole time because if these monsters get too close to the boss, then the boss eats them and he gets his health back, right? And so I'm using my skills to like pick up aggro, also drop these like frost traps that'll slow them down, and like running like these tight circles in the back and try not to die because again, I'm not a tank, so I don't have a lot of health. And then I come to the other side and it's like it's all about the numbers, right? And what do they call it? It's like the e-peen, right? It's the e-peen, like your e-penis, right? For the people like, oh, these are my numbers, these are my numbers, right? It's a numbers game, right? The flashy car drivers, those people. And it was just so extreme. But I honestly liked being on the more versatile side because it was fun and other reasons. And so it reminds me of this. Long story short, we're coming all the way back here, right? But it kind of sort of is that the hardcore side, excuse me, instead of the casual side, because this is like us doing what we're supposed to be doing in our role. That was a whole segue, and I kind of sort of forgot where I was going a little bit. Reliving the glory days. I got addicted to World of Warcraft several times, not gonna lie. Escapism. I'm a Pisces, you know? They say that, Pisces are those ruled by Neptune, kind of sort of fall into escapist tendencies a little harder than other signs. Typically, that escapism is through like, mind altering substances. Or it could be like shopping or video games or anything else that, you don't have to focus on your real life through. Um, and I don't play anymore because, my eyes. But maybe I'll go back someday. And I don't have a group to play with anymore either, so it's not as fun. I'm also like way into co-op games, like cooperation. I love it. If I got to play against another player, I always lose. It doesn't matter how good I am at the game because players don't act like the random AI generated opponents, right? And they do stuff like run circles around you, like literally. And I'm like, that's so annoying because on the game, if the target isn't right in front of you, then you can't attack it, right? And so they're running around me, just cutting me up, slicing and dicing, and I'm still playing this hunter, technically a ranged class. But once they get, right up on me, then I don't have the range anymore. It doesn't matter what the game is. I'm always bad at PvP. Anyway, back to this. Let's go to the Lenormand because maybe it'll come back to me. Seven of Hearts and the Queen of Clubs. Just call me the Queen of Clubs. Well, here's some more job leads. I need to talk to these people. I've been kind of avoiding them. But maybe I'll find something good this time. I will. I will find something good. even though I don't want to work in this area. But it's not necessarily permanent. Okay, what am I looking at? The Lenormands, Lenormands. Sometimes we got to be a team player. That's the point. It ain't always about you. Sometimes you got to be a team player. The Seven of Hearts is the tree, growth grounded, past connection, personal growth, spirituality, health, neutral, 9 months to a year. And then the Queen of Clubs is the Snake. Desire, seduction, deception, craving, attraction, sexuality, wisdom, forbidden knowledge, negative, and planned. Hey, Mimi. Yeah. Oh, I miss him, man. I miss him. We have the tree and the snake, and y'all immediately know what the tree and the snake remind me of. Immediately, the snake and the tree. I do. I don't want to get up, but I got to. I'm gonna just see what's around the devil card because I gotta look. I'm curious. I gotta know. I know. Was that Ice JJ Fish or JJ Ice Fish or something like that? I wanna know. I wanna know. Let's see what's around this devil card. Because we got that tree and a snake. Also, I'm gonna pull around the outlaw too. Actually, oh well, here we go. That was easy. See, I'll pull around both of them. Oh, look, they're not that far apart. Oh, interesting. Word. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, nice. I like it. I like that energy. I like it a lot. E. Then, okay, so first around the devil energy, we have the Wheel of Life and the Chancellor. Two major arcanas. That's Justice and the Wheel of Fortune. We have the energy of the Wheel of Fortune down here, right? A fortunate turn, a favorable turn of fortune right there. Well, yeah. I mean, if you got a favorable turn of fortune coming, it's a favorable turn of fortune. Because, I mean, Justice came out, so that's why I'm like, well, you know. And then around the Hanged Man is another major with the court card. The Moon and the Queen of Cups. I love this. So we have Justice and the Wheel of Fortune, and then the Moon and the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups in this deck is a shield, the Ivory Shield. So she's a protector, protecting us maybe from these unknown things. The Tree and the Snake. I'll also look up the Lenormand combination. Oh snap! Ooh, girl. I don't know what's going on either, but that's real interesting. Who just sent folks money? He ain't even out. He ain't even say nothing. He just sent some dollars. I'd be like, I hope you know that this don't mean nothing, but I appreciate your dollars. Tree and snake. Lenormand. Oh, it's right there. Oh, yes. Because the tree and the snake. Snake. Why can't I just find it? See, there was this one website that was so good. It was so good. I might have to just look and find it one day. I'm gonna have to assemble some tools one of these days. I did just say I want to get more into Lenormand because I haven't dived as deep into the system as I would like. Cheers. Hello. There's only one combination here. Oh, I gotta scroll. Okay, I was like, excuse me. I can't remember what the snake was. Oh, right here, tree and the snake. Oh, wow. To destroy one's own or others' mental slash physical health through ambition. A warning to avoid burnout caused by trying to achieve too much. To commit to an in depth workout program for the benefit of one's health. The goal health, fitness, physical ambitions, to research one's roots, ancestors, family connections, familial affairs, etc., strong physical cravings slash needs, to follow the path to one's goal calmly but very steadily, healthy ambition. Once a goal is set, it's difficult for us to change direction, addictive behavior, which has to do with our body. Ooh. Also, addiction to exercise. So, I don't know how I'm feeling this. I don't know how I'm feeling. I ain't necessarily feeling it. But that could be it. I mean, because I read it. So if that's it for some people, I mean, if there are these sort of, oh, okay, yeah. So if we are sort of mentally preoccupied or hung up on things, it's going to keep us from being as decisive and directive as we need to be. Because again, over here, bringing order to thoughts and proper delegation of tasks, both of those speak to the energy of us doing our job and not trying to make other people do our job or not trying to cut corners in some way. And then over here, it's a message duly received, a powerful message duly received, too. Now, it's a powerful message duly received because there's this like this throat energy and this uploading energy from the crown. Also, the element of water, but the element of water here instead of the element of air means that, and again with this like Mercury energy, only not only the things that we personally internally align to that we speak are what is resonating the most. And so if you're internally good and you're speaking good, then you're going to get good. But it's a powerful message duly received. And the tree is a very long-standing energy. I think it's one of the most permanent in the Lenormand, the tree. And then we have the snake here, which sheds its skin like all the time. 7 and 4 is an 11, and 11 is oh look, and then we have justice right here, the 11. Let's read the bottom. Let's see what the king is talking about to give us a little clarity. Where feminine and masculine meet, the conception of innocence and nesting and preparation. 24, 5, 4, 1, 4, and 3. So there is a 4, 4, 4 here between the 4 from 24 and then the two fours. Let's look at the chakras. So the root chakra is here twice in the same position, which is interesting. The throat, the heart, the third eye, and the crown. So from the heart above and also the root up here, the chakras are again, it's the root and the throat. So huge emphasis on the root here. And if we ain't been getting down to business, working on our root blockages, it almost sort of renders us incapable of really claiming the power of our voice in a way that benefits us. Also, there could be some deep, on a side note, there could be some deep seated insecurities and issues that are rising to the surface because of that ancient word that stirs ancient things to life. Like somebody might be triggered in a way they ain't been triggered in a long time. Potentially, maybe not. But yeah, I mean that's why, I think it's very interesting that Virgo is attached to Pisces, because Pisces is the dreamer, but it's almost like the energy of Virgo helps us to not create nightmares for ourselves. And this is going back between the star and the tower. So more majors, the healer and the tower. I just cut the deck randomly and put them in there. It's going back between the healer and the tower. So if we've done the healing, then we won't need as many towers. And it said seeing the internal through the external. But something about that energy may not be true to life. Again, so this is Mercury, and Mercury is the mind. So this whole thing depends on the state of the mind. And if there's any mind altering substances or behaviors, then it's going to severely impact this here. I mean, this came out with Virgo energy. So if it's not pure, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna fly. That dog don't hunt. That dog can't tell a chicken from a mushroom from a piece of chocolate. I got mushrooms I need to use. Ooh. Yeah. And there is like almost a mirroring energy here. If we dissect it at the one going straight down the middle, but it's like a funhouse mirror because it's not straight up and down. Okay, that's interesting. I want to pull some guidance for this because it could go either way. Actually, I'm not. Because I feel like there doesn't need to be any guidance. Like everything that needs to be said has already been said. Everything that we need to know, we already know. All of the tools that we need, we already have. And so it's like if you're on top of your game and if you're doing what you need to be doing, instead of trying to offload some of your stuff onto other people or trying to get other people to figure it out and work it for you. Because again, properly delegated tasks means that we're not asking people to do things for us that we're supposed to be doing for ourselves. And if we're putting our own minds and also our hearts in order, then it's like the favorable turn of fortune is the external aligning more succinctly with the internal. Right, because it's like in the US right now where it's like let's take a trip back to June and July. Now, some people have been protesting since it went down. We just don't see it. But now we got a new batch of protests because of some more foolishness. And it's like, at what point are we going to learn our lesson? At what point is there going to be any change? Or is this going to be the loop that we perpetrate ad infinitum? And it's like eventually at some point we're really going to have to start doing better if we want any better. This It's not a matter of time. It isn't. Like, do I want a final message? Nope. Hmm. It's like, temperance is out of the building. The temperance in the building right now is like, you doing that self work? You doing that internal alchemy, you doing that healing, that like, oh, let's just wait and see type thing. That's like we're literally already repeating this, which is not necessarily bad in the sense of like, the fact that, everything else is popping off again means that folks are really at their breaking point and something needs to change. The fact that it hasn't changed yet is just like, really? I mean, it's not, but it is at the same time. We got hurricanes coming in on the east, fires raging on the west, earthquakes happening all over the place. It's like, man, some people really wait for the world to end before they want to try to get right or act right. But hey, this is supposed to be lighthearted and fun, so I'm going to end it off on a Universe Has Your Back card, and I want to start using these more because apparently I don't know how to have fun anymore. So I let the cards do it for me. I figured, hey, that's a pretty fair exchange. I don't know. It's like, when we are comfortably out of this cycle, then maybe I can have fun a lot. When the collective is doing what they need to be doing, then I won't have to be so whatever this is. But until that point, it's like, man, I guess all of the astrologers were right when they said that, oh, Mars is going to go retrograde and all of these planets are going to go direct. So we're literally going to have a repeat of all of this later on in the year. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you don't do anything. You repeat it. Goodness. It's fine. I'm looking for a fight now. I might go looking for trouble in my dreams because the trouble ain't coming to find me anymore. It's like, hey, who got some room on their squad? Who needs somebody to go in and handle some stuff on the Astros? Psych. Because I don't know. Some of these I ain't trying to mix with everybody necessarily. All right, universe, you have our back. Thank you, girl. I know. Hold up, something flipped over because I heard that card. Wow, really, really, universe. Oh, here it is. Okay, I was like, I know I saw something. I heard something flip out. Oh, it's the one I can't read. I'm gonna do it today. I see love. I choose love. That's the word. I choose love. Y'all can see that. Maybe not. What's the bottom of the deck? Bottom of the deck says, when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the eyes of love. When I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens, of love. Here's seeing the world through the lens of love, and here's choosing love. If you ain't choosing love, then what that woman say, honey, you got a big storm coming. You got two of them that decided to come together to shake America up. I looked at that. I saw that on Twitter. I looked at that map. They said two hurricanes, and it's a masculine and a female hurricane coming to America, y'all. One of them got a masculine name. One of them got a feminine name. Now, is this the union of the divine masculine and the divine feminine that y'all was manifesting? Is this what y'all wanted to happen? We got hurricane male and hurricane female coming to hit the southwest, southeast panhandle of Florida and that whole area, while the fires are still raging in California. And apparently, I didn't even know that they had like volunteer inmate firefighters who fight these fires and then can't even work as firefighters. But since they've been sick due to COVID, now they're short staffed. Yeah, let's just sit and wait. Everything is retrograde, so let's just sit and wait until things get worse later. Okay. And what happened to like folks learning lessons in retrograde or something like that? Like, ain't that what people were talking about like before? It was like before this, all of this happened. It's like folks would be like, "Oh, retrograde is coming. It's a time to revisit past situations to get some healing and growth and evolution in areas that we didn't get it the first time." But then now, since March, all of a sudden, oh, everything is going retrograde. Just throw your hands up, surrender to everything. Can't nothing happen. Everything you do right now is futile because we're gonna hit the same situation when everything go direct anyway. And it's like, whoa, the whole narrative just like completely shifted from let's clean this up while everything is retrograde, and it's easier before these planets come back and punish us for not doing the work the first time, or the second time, or the third time, or whatever. Not punish us, but it's gonna come back. So let's make it easier on ourselves. Let's figure out how to do it the first time. So when the second time comes, we're like a pro. Or we at least ain't acting like we brand new. Anyway, I'm sorry. Clarity, a ooh, when it said the year of the blue lunar storm and these two storms coming together, girl, I'm coasting out my blue lunar storm. I was born in the year of the blue cosmic storm, so I was born in blue storm energy. I just kind of sort of find the eyes naturally. I am a little heated, but in my own personal little world, things are fairly calm, fairly nice actually. I guess I should be more appreciative of that in these times. Um, but yeah, things are good over here. I'm in the first narrative. Screw the other one. I mean, it's already too late because we already at the season where everything is about to start going direct. I mean, I guess it's too late as a whole. Like the time to be on that would have been the first time it happened because now, and then there are so many people who was like, oh, when Mars goes into Aries, because Mars and Pisces don't do anything, folks. Mars and Pisces it's lost. Mars and Pisces is delusional. Wait until Mars goes into Aries when it doesn't know how to sit down and shut the F up and just like chill out. Wait until Mars goes into Aries with absolutely no direction at all, besides just wanting to do something. And it's like now I click on certain videos and like, man, Mars and Aries has been rough. Oh, now Capricorn or now Saturn is going to be squaring Mars, so it's going to be even harder to do everything that we want to do. I'm like, see, this is that thing that I guess I knew about people, but that I assumed that spiritual or religious or whoever people would be a little different. It's like, at what point are we going to start doing anything in preparation for things to move? Like, if we never move anything, nothing is going to move. That's why we're repeating these hundreds of years old cycles, sometimes thousands of years old. Like, how long have different religions been going at each other? At some point, we got to do something. The South Node, and this is what I was saying. This is what I was saying since like May 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When the South Node shifted into Sagittarius and the North Node shifted into Gemini, and people was like, oh, don't do anything. Just focus on your own little world. Screw everybody outside of you. Just focus on you. I'm like, South Node of Sagittarius is saying that if we just sit around and theorize and don't do anything, and nothing is going to change. North Node is in Gemini, and Gemini is about action. That starts in your local community, yeah, sure. But when we all take care of our local communities, then the whole world changes, right? And it's like, oh my gosh. Oh my, like we just came out of North Node in Cancer. Folks should have a heart that is on right now. We shouldn't still be trying to get folks to care about people. We had a whole 18 months of North Node in Cancer to do that. South Node in Capricorn. If we never do anything, nothing ever changes. I'll just wait for the age of Aquarius. Yeah, when the age of Aquarius comes, it's gonna be like we're not gonna have this anymore, and we're not gonna have that anymore. Age of Aquarius, everything is gonna magically shift, even though no one is doing anything right now in the age of Pisces. or any in this transitional period. And a lot of people are going through their own internal work, which is beautiful. It's gorgeous, I guess. But also at the same time, like folks need to start doing stuff. And what am I doing besides just ranting and raving on the internet? I don't know. I'm doing stuff in the background for the collective. Because I mean, honestly, it's just like it's something I don't have the patience for. And I can be really patient in a lot of scenarios and situations, but this is not one of those areas of life where I can be patient. I have absolutely no patience and very little tolerance. I have a lot of understanding, but very little patience and tolerance for bigoted, closed-minded people. Because what bigoted and closed-minded people do is like they sit around and they argue the validity of someone else's humanity. They sit around and argue, oh well, this person deserved that because of X, Y, and Z. And it's like, I don't have time for that. I just don't. I just don't. But you know what? I'm gonna stop complaining about people because just like the card said, I need to clean up my own world. I need to get back on that train of I see the heart of humanity opening, and we are coming into this space where we don't allow ourselves or our neighbors or our brothers or the people halfway across the world to suffer with our silence, where we just turn and look the other way because we don't like that narrative. I'm gonna start speaking affirmations for humanity. I am a part of a human race that is interconnected and that cares about each other. I guess affirmations for humanity is like the only thing I haven't done yet. So why not? It can't hurt. Ah, yeah, I know. But it's just like, oh goodness. We'll get it though. I really feel like we'll get it. It's just taking a little longer, not longer than I thought. I'm just like ready. Like everybody is ready to move on. Like same. Like same. It's fine. You know what? We're gonna take a chill pill. We're gonna take several. I'm about to try to go to Dairy Queen. Hopefully somebody take me to Dairy Queen. Even though I probably shouldn't be spending money on Dairy Queen right now, but I want it. And so I will treat myself. I feel like sometimes I play this spectrum of like, ooh, I should spend my money better. I should be a little bit more wise and conscientious with my money. And then I see something that I want. I'm like, oh, I want that. And then it's like, well, what happened to being wise with your money? And then I'm like, that sounds like lack consciousness to me. And since I want this, I can get it. And then I need something, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where did the funds go? Everything is everything is chaotic. Everything is a paradox. It's all confusion. And it's like, am I being smart with my money or am I buying into lack consciousness? And then I'm like, it's just ice cream or it's just this, it's just that. I've spent how much money on these decks from Make Playing Cards? And I'm glad I did, but still, it's like, I'll be fine. I'll be taken care of. I just still need to, be wise. That's the point. The point is to be wise, not to buy into lack consciousness, but to make sure I'm not, I don't know. I honestly feel like I'm kind of waiting a little bit. So I'm just like finding things to take care of around the house. It's like, oh, I could do this again. I could learn this lesson all over again. Sure, why not? Because what else am I learning right now? Okay, there are some things I need to stop procrastinating though, so I'll take that back. I wanted to update my LinkedIn profile. I wanted to like come up with a little post and put it out there. I still want to come up with my list. I want to really look at what I want to do. And like, there are these other things. I can get back to work now that they fixed the computer system, hopefully, because the program shut down on me again. I'm like, every time I want to try to work, this program don't want to work with me. But it'll happen. So it'll happen. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so this is what I got for y'all. Again, I might be gone for a few days, or you may see me later on tonight. I don't know, because I really want to use these cards. I do want to end it out on. Oh, okay. This is what I'll do. I literally just Lenormand these, but I mean, it doesn't take too long to do it, so I'll just do it again. I'm gonna give these a good shuffle. I'm gonna pull a high and a low, and then we'll see what's up. As a final message, since I did use these, I need to get the final message. I really want that ice cream. I need to cut this short before somebody do something where I can't get my ice cream. I've been wanting ice cream for days. Also, I had chicken last night. When I was eating it, I was like, this isn't terrible. And then afterward, my body was like, why did you do that? And see, I do this thing with my body where I'm like, okay, body, this will be the last time. Or, okay, body, I've been really good. So just let me have this chicken sandwich. And my body be like, I don't know if my body is like okay or if I'm forcing my body to say okay. And then I'd be like, body, why did you betray me? You said okay. My body is like, I did not say okay. And we can't have this conversation when you already a good third of the way through the chicken sandwich. Hello? Okay, I got 3 cards. I'll just read these. Oh, the 9 of hearts, the 2 of diamonds, and the 3 of hearts. 3 of hearts. The 3 of hearts is oh, there's a 5555 and a 22 here. The 3 of hearts is 55 3 5 2 5 2. 55 3 5 2 5 2. 55 3 5 2 5 2. The 2 of diamonds is 38 9 5 1 5 and 3. We literally just saw that one. And the 9 of hearts is, oh, I saw this one like yesterday, 67 18 7 2 1 and 2. Yeah, okay. This is one of the ones with the typo on it. The 3 of hearts got the typo on it. I've seen all of these. Like I got like 50, 54 different messages, and I'm seeing like the same. I mean, I guess it's fine because it's literally only been like a day or 2 days. So how much is going to shift within the course of like a day or 2 days, right? So that's another reason why I probably shouldn't upload so frequently, but it's fine. We'll start at the 9 and then work. Well, we'll start at the 9 and then work our way up to the 3. So the 9 of hearts, I could look up the. Oh, I wonder if I can ask Siri. Hey Siri, what is the Lenormand for the 9 of hearts?
Okay, I found this on the web for what is the Lenormand for the 9 of hearts. Check it out.
I gotta click into it. It might be the writer, but maybe not. Let's see. But maybe not. Let's see. The letter P. Really? Oh, so this is like the whole playing card system. This card represents secret dreams realized. It also foretells that all of your wishes can materialize very quickly. Ooh, I might have to bookmark this website. Girl, they got the group is the Zodiac. The letter is P. The interpretation is logic, reason, and equity. Equity, like equality, but like to the next level. The floral arrangement is lilac, aurum, immortelle. It's an everlasting and helichrysum. I've seen helichrysum lately as a essential oil on one of the magical dimensions. The interpretation is you need to harmonize your surroundings with your heart, and anything goes. Decorating, landscaping, etc. At the same time, don't forget to adjust your lifetime relationships. The large subject is in the forest of Nemi. Hercules subdues a lion, leaving a cave. The Nemean lion. I looked up the story of the Nemean lion before. We went through that whole thing. The interpretation is you will be given the opportunity to acquire power. It is up to you to use it wisely and with diplomacy. Your work and courage will bring a kind of popularity. Your efforts will pay off. Every time somebody like, Spirit is watching you and you ain't working in vain, I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Because I know I do too much for Spirit to just leave me out like this. Right? I do. Ooh. Oh, snap. Won't he do it? Amen. That reminds me of that Virgo, that Virgo energy I just saw. Um it was cleaning up the mental and properly delegating tasks. When it said it is up to you to use it wisely and with diplomacy, this great power that we're coming into. What the freak? This got so many. I didn't know playing cards were so popping. 603 and 63%, 99. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm really glad I read this. So, is this at the bottom? So, this is the bottom right. This is the bottom right. So, the bottom right subject is Napoleon gives a Medal of Honor to a soldier. Interpretation of this is your achievements will soon be grandly recognized. Honor and compensation await you. Financial gain will follow, but not for several weeks. Your renown will permit you to be patient. Ooh, I like that. I like that. The constellation here is Regulus, and Regulus is interesting because I think that new moon in Leo happened at Regulus. And Regulus is the star that's like the heart of the lion in the Leo constellation, or at least that's what the Leo King said. I watch him sometimes. It represents your projects being realized. More realization. Global interpretation of the card is like Hercules facing the lion, you will find the strength to overcome. You should never lose hope or be discouraged. You must have self confidence and fight for what is yours. Thanks to your skill and abilities, you will triumph. Ooh. Ooh. They gave me everything except for the Lenormand that I wanted, which is literally the reason why I looked this up. But I will take every single message because those were beautiful. Those were beautiful. I'm gonna have to bookmark that website for real though. On a real. We're gonna have to bookmark. We're gonna have to book. Gonna have to bookmark that website. Looking for the 9 of Hearts. Looking for the 9 of Hearts. The 9 of Hearts is the writer. It is the writer. Energy, passion, speed, activity, news, message, positive, and soon. Sooner than you know, but not soon enough. I have no clue. That sounds like it would be right, but I don't know. Okay, like I think it does, but I'm not sure. It might be like the Sun and Sirius and Regulus, maybe. Actually, I think I did hear about somebody talking about Regulus being related to Sirius lately. So hey, that's all the stuff that we just came into. That Lions Gate. And that's where we're starting. We're starting at the Lions Gate. And the Lions Gate was almost a month ago. Okay, not really. It was like 20 days ago almost. A blip of light at the heart of a black hole and progenitors and a primordial pool. 67, 18, 7, 2, 1, and 2. Now, progenitors and a primordial pool, again, it speaks to that energy that we have everything that we need inside of us. But it's like what we do now will grow and evolve in ways that are so much grander and so much bigger than we can even imagine. But if we don't do what we need to do now, then those things will never come to be. It's like, Marty McFly syndrome. If his parents never get busy on that night, he never born. And so we got to do something. Like Spirit, oh gosh, I ain't gonna. I've already talked about it. Some of the stuff I've been talking about since February or March. So now I guess I kind of sort of. I mean, I guess I don't have a huge platform, so I can't be too upset or too frustrated. I need to let go of the upsetness and the frustration because if this is what it takes to create a world that I actually want to live in, where people care about people and we can all like live in something closer to harmony, if this is what it takes, then this is what it takes. It's some growing pains, and I can be appreciative and grateful even now, even though lots and lots and lots of people are losing their lives in many ways, as they always do. But we're really in this position where at least some folks are saying something. Like, can we do something, please? The Two of Diamonds again is a forced uprising, an ancient word that stirs ancient things to life, whispered. And the Three of Hearts is where form and function align, the power of words to brighten and terraform. And this is the card I mentioned, the power of words to brighten and terraform. It says in terraform. It was supposed to be and. It's a typo. Also, there's a lot of fives on this card, and five is a number of change. 55, 5, and 5, and then 3 and 2, which make 5, and then an extra 2, which is about duality. But there's an extra 2, but this is a 3 of hearts. So for every 2, there is a 3. So it's kind of, this is a 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 energy. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 natural fives, and then 2 more fives between threes and twos. Lots of change. So, I'm worried about the world. This world need to work through them. But you're right. It ain't a light switch. I'm just like, and then you can't do nothing for people because if you just change laws, that don't stop people from doing stuff. So many people want to claim that slavery ended after slavery and racism ended after segregation. And it's like, okay, well, you know, if that were the case, some folks wouldn't still be acting like how some folks act. But again, I literally just said I'm about to start speaking life over the collective. We're going to get it. We're going to get the lessons. We're going to see the error of our ways. We're going to look at how we got to this point in the first place. We're going to stop doing this thing where we look for reasons to justify stuff and we just say, you know what? This ain't right. Like something isn't right. Now I just have to make sure I believe it. And I do. And I do. Um, but yeah, if this is what it takes to get to a better world, then it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. And if this wipes us out because we're not capable of a better world, then I guess it's still worth it. Because then maybe whatever happens to this planet after we're gone will be amazing, right? I don't know. Either way, it's going to work out how it's intended to. I do. Like, I know that it's going to be okay eventually. But I'm just like, how long is this going to take? Like, when are folks going to get it? It's fine. I mean, it took me a while. Kinda. I mean, once I started, it didn't really take me that long. It just took me a while to start. I don't know. I had that one dark night and I was like, you know what? I'm good. I don't need any more of these. So I'm just gonna do my business. And that was enough for me. Um, but we all learn at our own pace. And if the world would have immediately gotten better, then I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in now, where I'm using my voice and I'm speaking my truth and I am criticizing, but also loving at the same time. Y'all might not hear the love, but there is still love in there.
It's just that like disappointed type of love. Like, really? Like, I thought we were like beyond this. We were going to therapy and therapy was going so well. We've been communicating, we've been talking, and you're doing that thing where you shut down and you don't really talk to me. And when you don't talk to anybody, then there's nothing we can do to fix these issues. Collective. Did the collective ever go to therapy though? Kinda. It's been like light therapy adjacent. Anyway, let me stop. All right, I'm gonna shut this down here. Thank you, Mimi, for chiming in. I hope everyone has a good whatever whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to get everything that you want. Because if you ain't acting in alignment to get what you want, you probably gonna get a bunch of stuff that you don't want if you get anything. But that favorable turn of fortune coming up with that cleaning up of the mental and properly delegated tasks. Properly delegated tasks can also be the energy of surrendering the things that you have no control over. It's like you do what you can do, or you do what's within your power to do, and then you surrender everything else. So, collective, consider yourself surrendered, because, hey, I don't know. I ain't nobody daddy, and I ain't nobody husband. So, I ain't got folks to worry about. And my family, they're good. So, we all Gucci over here. Just holding a candle for the collective. I'll have a candlelight vigil tonight at 8 o'clock. If you're interested, if you want to burn a candle for the collective, I'm just kidding. I don't even have a candle to burn or a lighter to light it with. I guess that'll be a prayer vigil, a candle vigil in spirits. And maybe that's something that I haven't really done. Shown appreciation and honored the folks who have already passed. Right. So maybe I'll do that a little bit, or just send them a thank you for your service type of thing. I don't know.